got out, my two buddies helped me up and shoved me. I went down in the water, and I'm crawling up towards the sand, and finally I get up to where I can get out of this. They came and grabbed me, dragged me up on the sand. It was jammed. We were just like this, jammed. And they were right there on Mount Suribachi, 575 feet away, firing down on us.
So when you first hit the beach with the flamethrower, did you have to have the caps for ignition for the flamethrower in a bag or anything to keep the water from ruining them?
No, everything just right on your back, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no problem, yeah.
So, Eli, real quick. Filled up, it was 68 pounds.
Nope.
Served by one crew member, Don. And it had one nitrogen tank for the propellant and two U.S. gallon tanks of napalm/gasoline. At a total, yes, of 68 pounds.
68 pounds. And you were you were the smallest one?
What's that?
You were the smallest one?
I was a short.
And they're like,
hey,
here you go.
I was what they called a feather merchant. He'd have been a feather merchant too. We're on the rear end.
So how many? So you're saying you were like side by side. There was a bunch of you. How many Marines were during the assault?
How many carried the flamethrower, or do you mean in the assault?
During the assault, side by side.
3 divisions. Well, excuse me, 2 divisions. We held the 3rd division in the rear for about a week. But when we got hit so hard, we needed replacement. So they sent we had all 3. My regiment, we hit Green Beach 1 right by Suribachi, and we would go over the top, turn left, and secure that, because that's where they had full power, over 8 square miles. They could shoot anywhere, 8 square miles. Yeah. So that was our job. The 3rd went up to the right on the airstrips. That airstrip was tore all apart, and the primary purpose of being there, we had to get the airstrip straightened out because the B-29s were getting knocked down. Our planes could not go there and take them back to Saipan. They run out of fuel. So the purpose of taking that was getting it rebuilt. The CBs did that. Incidentally, the CBs for the first time hit the beach with us, and they said they'll never do it again. They had heavy casualties. Heavy. Yeah. They weren't trained for that.
Navy CBs. There we go. Navy again. There we go.
Yeah.
There we
go.
And
they were to secure those airstrips so the B-29s could come in. I saw the first one come in and land on fire.
Holy shit.
The Air Force took over that down there. They were right around the airstrips. And when they saw that baby come in and saw it get on fire, they got the crew out of there within minutes and backed off, and she just went puff like this. That was it.
Dang. You said it's experiencing war is one thing. We've talked about it on the podcast, but my war, even the wars before that, compared to what you guys went through, is just, I can't rationalize that in my head. Like when we're getting in a fight, it's against one guy or 2 guys max, or an IED is going off. So it's just they're setting off an explosion and running. They're not doing it's not a battle. Versus you guys went through like a war. Like how many?
We haven't had near pure warfare in 80 years.
Yeah.
So our generation has no clue.
Well, you know what scared me? Word came around. What do we need to find out how quick they got killed? What is the lifespan? The span. Lifespan of the flamethrower on Iwo Jima was 4 minutes.
Holy shit.
I was the only one in my battalion that walked off.
Out of every flamethrower.
Out of the battalion.
Well,
and a battalion is 400?
850.
Oh.
how many survived in Iwo Jima?
Well, there's not too many. Very few. Yeah.
That's
very few.
Your company was...
Huh?
Your company?
I'm the only one in my battalion, and you know.
And that's out of all the flamethrower. And then your battalion of...
Con la app de YouTube Music puedes disfrutar de tus canciones favoritas en segundo plano, mientras recoges todo ese desorden en primer plano. Prueba un mes sin coste.
Soldiers, because your battalion was 800 people?
Excuse me, Marines.
Marines. Oh my God.
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming as soon as you said it.
Soldier, I know. Army built in my head. He's like, Marine. He slaps me. I'm like, I'm sorry.
I can't help it. That's what they said in the boot camp.
Were there other islands that you made amphibious landings on?
I spent a lot of time around the Pacific. We were all set for combat. I was in a second anti-tank battalion. I drove a Dodge pickup with a 37 millimeter anti-tank gun. I'm on it, and it was right next to my head. And once in a while, we'd fire on the run training. Well, now I got hearing aids.
Yeah, they did not
He's
have
got a
ear pro back
tactical.
then. I was about to say, did I mishear that?
I came very close to being on Chihuahua. 2 square miles, 2,000 killed in 2 days. We had 8 square miles, 7,000 killed in 6 weeks. 20,000 wounded.
Wait,
Tarawa. The Battle of Tarawa, the Japanese general in charge of Tarawa said that 1 million men couldn't take Tarawa in 100 years. And Tarawa was unique because they had coral reefs all around the island.
Yeah.
So they didn't think that the Marines, they'd only ever seen Higgins boats, and Higgins boats wouldn't be able to make it over the coral reefs. Well, this is when the Marines showed up with amphibious tractors and drove right over the top of them and kept going, and it scared the dog shit out of the Japanese. One of the generals had recorded that one of the privates underneath him, when he saw the tractors hit the coral atoll or the coral reefs and drive right over the top, said they looked like spiders crawling over the water, and that the gods of death had come, referring to the Marines.
Well, I like to refer to that island as 2 miles of our 8 miles. Same battle, bloody. And they come up, the Marine Corps come up with that was the worst battle in the history of the Marine Corps. No other battles compared to it, but I found one. Where do you think it is? Philadelphia. Right over the border. Civil War.
Oh, yeah. That was a bad one.
Gettysburg is compared to Iwo Jima.
Wow.
That was a bloody battle.
That was extremely, it's one of the most bloody battles in all of U.S. history. And then Iwo Jima. And then it's, for the viewers at home that don't know this, you were there during the raising of the flag in Iwo Jima.
We were fighting up, and when we got to the crest, they were raising the pole. You know what that pole's made of?
No.
Let's hear it.
Drain pipe. They found drain pipe up there. We didn't have a flag. We knew nothing about a flag. My battalion commander took one from the ship. His skipper told him, he said, "Colonel, I got this flag. If you can put it up when you get on that mountain up there, put it up for me. I appreciate it." He said, "I'll do it." So that's how that flag got in the picture. A drain pipe, and they found wire to tie the flag on with.
So when you saw it, did you think anything of it at the time? Did you think that it was anything special, or was it just another thing going on?
Every eye was watery. When that flag went up, and we were shocked to begin with, when it went up, 500 ships out in the bay let go with horns, rockets, everything, tracers, everything. Our boys on the north end let go with tracers.
Yeah, America.
It was, you know what it was like the 4th of July at New York Harbor there.
No doubt.
Oh, it was, and we just stood there, and boy, tears coming down our face.
And the Japanese are like, well, shit. That's amazing.
All right, Brandon.
But it
Can I
only
switch
made the
spots with you?
Japanese fight twice as hard.
Okay. I gotta get next to my E4 buddy over here.
They're switching spots.
Petty officer.
You know, sometimes you have to be demoted, you know.
Don, don't worry about the E4 Mafia for life. Okay? E4 Mafia, we got it. Okay?
We got it.
We now got it over here.
The Navy love to sit together.
Don't worry about how much
We're
I
gonna
sleep.
start fighting.
Sometimes I sleep on my stomach, Eli.
Al, what was your one of your most crazy times in the military during that time?
Crazy time.
Oh yeah. Her name was no.
Well, no, I was originally supposed to be a radio operator aboard a Avenger torpedo bomber.
Oh damn.
And thank the Lord, I couldn't pass code. And the torpedo bomber, when it drops the torpedo, it goes out like this, and the radio operator sat right here. And all the guns are pointing at it. So I thank the Lord that I failed it.
Like, no, this ain't for me.
Did you almost serve on a submarine?
No,
Okay. Oh,
haven't.
Not a fun time.
not a fun time.
Where's the submarine home?
Is there a submariner over here? We got a bubblehead over here, dude?
Yeah, we got a bubblehead.
Oh,
No, he's outside. He's outside.
okay.
No, he's outside. He's outside right now. That's like
Submarines aren't exactly great now. Back then, yeah.
very not great.
Oh, man.
Are you ready? Babe, let's bring out Big Daddy.
To you for free.
So you've told multiple stories, Dawn, but what is a story you haven't told that much or out to the world where you're like, oh yeah, it's a cool or at least a crazy story, or even just when you got in trouble the most in the military? I'm actually going to switch it to that. I want to know what stuff you got into, what trouble you got into in the military.
In the military?
Yeah, worst trouble.
There's a submarine.
Oh, I wish I had an answer.
That's the guy?
Do I have to?
I mean,
It's up to you.
I met a girl.
One?
I met a girl. and you know, young fellas think they're always in love, you know.
oh yeah, Cody.
I stayed an extra day. I had a 72 leave, 3 days, and I took an extra day. That's where the colonel threw me in the brig. That was the first time.
All right, why did he
The first time? Wait, what?
Well, yeah, why did he throw you in the brig?
Huh?
Why did he throw you in the brig?
Discipline me.
What'd you do?
Took an extra
What did
day
I
off.
do? I was over the hill with no leave. I took a little extra time. Hey, and there was a fence there, and there was a tent inside the fence. And I'm standing there, and my lieutenant, my platoon leader, comes by. Boy, I like that guy. He came by and he says, Graves, he said, let me ask you, was it worth it? I said, yes, sir. He said, I thought so.
And I understand taking your time, but an extra day, man, you are a hero.
So you said your first time in the brig.
That's the first time, yeah.
Go on.
Let's hear the other ones.
Insubordination. Hey, insubordination.
Oh, you are my people, both of you. Troublemakers.
Well, you know, listen, when you
just
stop to
saying,
think
think
about it, yeah, there's no excuse. We were kids.
Oh yeah,
Teenagers get into trouble.
that's
Except
great.
you.
Yeah.
You didn't get in trouble, did you?
No.
No, you're a liar. You're just hiding it.
That was such a legitimate offense. Just,
I know. Oh,
sir.
how'd he know?
Where were you guys when you had heard that the Japanese were going to surrender, and that you knew that the war was over?
Well, I'll tell you, I did a lot of singing in my company battalion, and I put shows on, you know. I go around my skipper would say, Graves, it's time for a program, entertainment. And I said, well, he said, just volunteer them. Tell them I said they're going to have to perform. So I went around, heard some guy did a tap, you know. We had a pretty good show. They hesitated, but I says, the old man says you got to do it, so they had to do it. We put on a show. Now, they hadn't surrendered yet. Germany had already surrendered. And we put this show on, and it was around 9 o'clock at night outside in the tent. We had a wooden stage. And they all did their stuff, and I was going to close it by singing a song, and I'm singing. Then all of a sudden, in the audience come 3 photographers with their cameras. And we said, and I looked like that, Bob Crosby, Bing Crosby's brother, he was our recreation officer. And he was next to me, and I said, fellas, what are you doing? And the boys jumped up and said, get out of here. You broke our show up, but get out of here. No, wait, the war is over. And they froze. Get out of here. We would never believe that thing would ever end. No, it's over. Harry Truman was notified. They woke him up this morning. Everything's set. They have surrendered unconditionally. And all of a sudden, hats went up. We went crazy. And Bob Crosby said, give me your attention, fellas.
How could you tell
and
the
when
difference? How could you tell the difference?
Well, Bob Crosby said, fellas, go to your tents. We all walked, and we're going down the company streets, several. Not one word. Not one word was spoken. We got in our tents, got in our bunks, and all you could hear was sniffing. Too proud to share. It was great. It was wonderful, and that was wonderful to experience a peace treaty. The war was over. Absolutely. Yep.
Beautiful. What about you, Al? When did you hear the news?
You weren't over the hill, were you?
No.
Okay.
Gotta love you guys together.
I was chasing the Guam Indians. Let's see. Well, the CO put it on the speaker system, so the whole camp's heard. And I can't remember the date or anything. Incidentally, the CO of the receiving station, he was a woolly booger guy. He kept throwing beer parties out on the beach.
Sounds like our people.
Maybe.
When did you guys hear how the war ended? Did you guys hear that there was nuclear weapons involved? Did you?
No. We heard nothing about that. Only that they finally had enough. They had to surrender.
It came from
They were just about
Guam and
wiped out.
Tinian.
They had no navy. I went into Ryuka, Sasebo Harbor, and it's a submarine base. And you should see the submarines turned upside down. And what ships were there were sticking up with a bow out. I mean, our Air Force just pounded that place to attack. We went in and slept in warehouses. Rats all over. We had our blankets over us, and all of a sudden, what the heck was that? Rats. Oh, they were all over the warehouse. Well, we were supposed to hold that area. Later, we went off into towns because we had to clean up. We didn't do it. We supervised the people to do it. We never saw a human being in Japan for 2 weeks.
Holy.
Never saw them.
All right.
Then all of a sudden, kids would come down. We'd give them a candy ration bar, candy. they'd go back, then Mama would come down. Then she'd get some canned goods, you know. They didn't have anything. And the old man came down. He was a little bit superstitious about it, but all of a sudden they went and told everybody that people are all coming down, and that was it.
This is during a time frame when, so the Japanese were told that American soldiers will kill you. They're going to do
We're going to
kill
everything.
terrible things.
Yeah.
Just, and that's what their military told, and their country told the civilians. That's why a lot committed seppuku, or in order to, instead of getting captured, surrendered. So that's why when you, like the kids coming down, give candy, then it's just like, holy shit, they're not eating us. They're not terrible humans.
I got into homes. I had a great time. There was one man there. He was going to start a union at the docks. They never had unions, you know. And he was telling me, he said, I have to tell you that your president, Mr. Roosevelt, he was supporting the unions, and people got a decent wage. We are trying to do that here.
That's crazy. I have a question about the rats.
The what?
The rats. So
The rats, yes.
You're a Marine. Did the Marines ever
I
take...
hate them.
Okay, you were a Marine. You are a Marine. Did you ever take the two biggest rats and fight them against each other? That's something that Marines would do. You're okay. You hear me out.
He hasn't said no.
We never thought about it. I knew a couple of guys that would do it. He collected rattlesnakes.
I knew a Marine would take the rats and fight them against each other.
I got an idea, guys.
All right. There's a big rat here. There's a big rat here. What if they fall? We're all bored. I'm just saying.
In Los Angeles, you were in California, weren't you? Were you in California? Yeah. The LA hotel. Well, we took that hotel over during the war.
I was too
And there
young.
was a court. You know, there's rooms and there's that hollow court. And we had a few guys that brought the simulator bombs. You know, they just had a loud boom. You know, and when that echo, boom, 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 and Lurenthal, the fellow that he caught rattlesnakes, killed them, then he'd skin them and he'd make belts. The guy was really good. His mother managed the LA hotel.
No doubt.
I went back there after the war, and I wanted to visit her. He had moved. And she said, Graves, you guys just about put me out of business. He said, all we had was reports about noises and doors with a fist imprint through it. It was terrible. Oh, it was awful.
That's called booze and Marines.
Al, you said they told you about nuclear bombs when the Japanese surrendered.
Yes.
What'd they say, or what was your guys' understanding of what a nuclear bomb was? Did you even know what it was?
Well, yeah, I did.
Okay.
Because I was an electronics fan. And that's what I took out after I got out of the service. Went to school for electronics. Yeah, I didn't know entirely about it, but I knew that
You had an idea.
you had an idea what it was. And that's what scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah. That was what it did to Japan. Man, killed thousands of people.
Instant.
Yep.
In a flash.
But
But
it's just scaring the hell out of me right now.
Yeah, our government figured out how to harness the sun.
Yeah,
That's,
right. There you go.
concerning.
There you go. Yeah.
but to end the war, though, because like even the Battle of Iwo Jima was a very bloody battle, and that's what the one piece of history is. It would have been more deaths actually getting on mainland than just the two nuclear bombs that were set off during that time.
And that's the piece of history that we brought up on a previous podcast, is that every Purple Heart that the U.S. military has ever given out to current day, including yours that you got, was actually made in preparation for.
I'm bad at my job.
It was made in preparation for an invasion of Japan because they were expecting that many casualties.
Yeah,
which is
they
wild
were
to think
getting
about.
ready for it.
Crazy. Now, this is, if you want a crazy story. So, Don, they would used to hammer, they would bomb the beaches, and that's where you guys would hang out or hide in at first when you were getting on the beaches when you beached Iwo Jima, correct?
Yes. What about the bombing?
You would hide in the bombs or in the holes, the craters.
Oh yes, yes. I always say the Air Corps. Air Corps
at that time.
made the best tailor-made foxholes a Marine ever crawled into. It would handle 3 Marines. We'd dig in the cave in. That bomb just busted that right out of there. Beautiful.
Dig it in 3 seconds.
Go, go, go. Just imagine an explosion. You're like, run, get in that one. Okay, we're good. That's crazy to me.
Lightning doesn't strike twice. We're going into that one.
You know, here's something that I'll say it right.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, there's a lot of hygiene here. Now, imagine for 6 weeks, you can't get out of your foxhole. We learned that because a lot of kids got shot doing something. You don't do it. You don't. When we got aboard ship, we had nets when we got down. We had nets to get back up. And the sailors would help us crawl over the top. We never washed our teeth. We never washed our face. We never shaved, etc., etc., etc. We were a mess. And this one kid in Navy, he knew me.
You had to change.
He said, Graves, what's wrong with your eyes? And I said, why? Well, they're on fire. They're red. They're just red. We didn't get any sleep. You wouldn't catnap either.
Oh.
No. We didn't get any sleep. We were a mess.
You should have.
So you can use your imagination as to why we were.
Explosions, everything else. So how often for your rotations, when was the first bath after you hit the beach?
Right aboard ship.
How long was
Shower.
that? How long? How many weeks?
Oh, we were 6 weeks on there. Yeah.
Jesus.
It's something that like a lot of my family had talked about because I had family who served in the Pacific as well. A lot of them had issues with, their teeth would rot out and things because nobody brushed your teeth because at least the way that I was told he put it was, why brush your teeth to keep your teeth for 20 years when we don't know if we'll live to tomorrow? That's just kind of the way they look at it.
You can always get false choppers if they get hit.
That's a positive ass mindset. I ain't brushing them. You get fake ones.
No, I've learned this one thing. It's one thing to face the enemy, get shot at, and shoot at them. It's another thing, the living condition. It's horrible. It's just bad. I don't know how many, at least in my company, we had 3 or 4 guys. They just couldn't wait. They went outside the hole and did everything. Bam. Sitting ducks.
A lot of people don't realize that about the history of warfare is that most of the time, until pretty recently, most deaths in war had nothing to do with the enemy. I mean, like even during the Civil War, most deaths had nothing to do with an enemy bullet, anything like that. It was dysentery, disease, just poor living conditions for 4 years. That'll do more than the enemy ever will.
You fellas ever seen Letters from Iwo?
Letters of Iwo Jima?
Yeah.
That's
beautiful.
the Cadillac. That's the Cadillac that was made. You got straight scoop because the remainder of the boys that went home, on Iwo, we arrested 250 of them. The rest were killed. They went home and told everybody. And so they knew what they were talking about writing that book. So the flags of our fathers was a fluke. Those others, I was with Spielberg there at Normandy that wrote him and Tom Hanks. Yeah.
You with Tom Hanks too?
Yeah. No. Tom Hanks was there. He wasn't over where I was, but he was walking around.
But you were with Spielberg?
But
Both of you?
Spielberg. Did you get to talk to Tom Hanks?
No.
Oh.
Just Spielberg?
Yeah, but Spielberg, a wonderful guy. Oh, and he.
Oh, yeah.
You know, normally they'll talk and then they get away. He said, "Just a minute, Don." He said, "I gotta leave, but I'll be right back." And I thought, well, that's the end of that. He came back and said, "Where were we?" I thought that was great. I asked him about the movie. I said, "Let me ask you something. What was the big one that Tom Hanks was in with him on?"
Saving
Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Good, man. A classic.
There were. What you say? It's a classic.
Saving
It's
Private
a fluke.
It's a fluke. Okay.
It's a fluke.
Okay.
Let me tell you why.
Yeah, I hate Saving Private Ryan.
Who likes that movie?
John Basilone was killed on my right, 10 feet away. He was on a Bond tour before that. And he went to his skipper, who was Chesty Puller. He was the captain then.
I recognize that name.
But so he went to Chesty Puller and said, "Captain," he said, "I want to go on with my buddies." He said, "But we're making money, Bond tours." He said, "I want to go back. I want to go on the line. I want to go with my buddies." Well, he got in our outfit. We got in the 27th Regiment of my division. He was right on my right. He never got up. He got shot there. They've got him. "Come on, you so-and-sos, let's get him." And he's got a machine gun and he's blazing away. That never happened.
Are you talking about Flags of Our Fathers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
okay.
Flag of Our Fathers.
Because I was going to ask you, I thought you were talking about Saving Private Ryan for a moment.
I did too. I was like, well, I thought everyone liked that.
And there was
Because I was
one-
going to ask you what your problem with that movie was.
And there was one other thing. There was several, but one other thing. At the end, do you remember the two Japanese that escaped from their own people? And they had white rags, and they surrendered, and they sat them down there, and a sergeant was standing there with his M1, and a lieutenant came up to him and he said, "We're going on a patrol. Keep an eye on these two. We'll be back." He said, "Yes, sir." He had chew in his mouth. He looked at the two Japanese, and the one Japanese says, "I don't like him." The other one says, "Oh, he'll be all right. He'll be all right." The sergeant, Buck Sergeant, bam, bam, killed them both. That never happened. He'd have been court-martialed. When you surrender, you take care of him.
And you guys took that very seriously.
That never happened. They should never put that in. Then also, the 1st Marine Division went to New Zealand. After Guadalcanal, I went to New Zealand right after that. And that other half went to Australia. Now, in New Zealand, they have what they call trams, which are streetcars. These boys had liberty, and they ran in town with their white skivvy shirts. Never happened. You don't go anywhere with your undershirt. That's an undershirt.
Big no.
And they were running all over the streetcar, harassed. It was terrible. That never happened. That was crazy. And the same thing in Australia. I could go on and on and on. And there was one mariner that was meaner than heck. Do you remember him? And there were prisoners sitting there. And he went by with his rifle and he kicked the one, if you remember. He did something to him. And I said, "Here we go. That never happened. That never happened. That doesn't happen. Not in the Marine Corps."
But Saving Private Ryan?
I didn't care for that. Saving Private. Let's go to that one.
Oh,
Now they found him. They finally
Light
found
this fire.
They found Private Ryan. I'm not going. "Oh, really? Really? You got a commander there telling you that we've got you. They want you back. You're going to La-da-da. I'm not leaving my buddies. You will go." And then just behind, there's a sergeant telling a kid what to do, and they have a fist fight. Never happened. You don't hit someone with stripes.
Now, what if that is just the version of events that the man at the end, the guy, Private Ryan at the end, told his family to sound really cool?
He made it up.
He made it up. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it brings out some of the conditions that you go through. That's true. But I mean, why do they do that? So I told Spielberg that. He said, "Don, he said,
I like he's just like, yo, Spielberg. What the F, bro?
Listen here, that T-Rex, that's not how they saw him.
he said, Don, we have to sell movies.
Spielberg,
At
come
least
here.
he's honest. I appreciate his candor.
Don said, "Why don't you sell this?"
So I was asked to ask about Hill 362.
I'll never forget it. We lost our battalion there.
Damn.
We lost our battalion, and another guy, he was our music. He's on the line with us. He came to me, and he knew demolition. He said, Graves, we got a job to do. We woke up in the morning, you know. I don't have anybody at all. I'm all by myself. So I joined him, and there's a ridge goes up to the right. There's a mouth on Hill 3.